Hello everyone, this is Professor Reimer. This video is entitled Unit 5, DOL 2, the Ming Dynasty. It's for my world history class on Tuesday, January 12th and Wednesday, January 13th. Our objective in this lesson is to explain Ming China's impact on global trade by writing a short paragraph. And as always, let's begin the lesson with a preview activity. I want you to check out the Metropolitan Museum of Art at this website right here. And you're going to be able to explore the timeless beauty of the art of the Ming Dynasty. And what I want you to do is make and record your observations of it. Remember that art, architecture, literature, music, and drama reflect the history of the cultures in which they are produced. And we're about to study that history. So let's begin with a preview of the art. So I'm going to click there. I'll put this in the Google assignment. So pause the video now. And on your own, I want you to make and record some observations about this art from the Ming Dynasty. All right, you paused, got a taste of what life was like in the Ming Dynasty. Now let's get to our engagement piece, and we're gonna get back to an old tool we've used in class before. We're gonna get sick with the Ming Dynasty. And we're going to focus in this lesson on our reading skills. And so we are going to dive into Chapter 20, Lesson 1. But before we do that, let's review how we do a get sick chart. Remember, it is a way for us to organize an enormous amount of information, which in world history, we often are confronted with enormous amounts of information. We're not always sure what to do with it, how to make sense of it. So this get sick chart helps us analyze a topic, and in this case we're analyzing the Ming Dynasty. So you're going to sort the characteristics of the Ming Dynasty into these themes. Governance, remember that has to do with the laws and the rulers. Economic systems, the goods and services that are being bought and sold, traded in a place. Technology and innovation, what are the tools, what are the new ways of doing things that are happening in the culture. Social interactions in an organization. In other words, how are people organized? How are they divided up within a society? What are the families like? What are the gender relations like? What are the race and ethnic lines like? Next, interaction between humans and the environment. So in other words, how are humans changing, impacting the environment, and likewise. Finally, the C is cultural development. In other words, kind of like we just saw with the art, right? What makes a society unique? What about its art and its architecture, its music that is unique to a society? So pause the video now, make this chart on a piece of paper in your notes, and then join me here, and we're going to go over to Chapter 20, Lesson 1. All right, you ready to go? You've paused, you've made this chart. Now, let's navigate over to our textbook, McGraw-Hill. Remember, the table of contents is right here in the center, which I said Chapter 20, Lesson 1, Ming and Qing Dynasty. So right away, you're thinking, wait a minute. I'm only doing a get sick chart about the Ming Dynasty. What's this Qing Dynasty? That's the dynasty that came after the Ming. That is outside of our topic today. So don't get confused. Only making a chart about the Ming Dynasty. And I wanted to not do it with you, but I wanted to remind you of all the great lesson resources that the textbook has to offer you. And they're located either right here or up here. So the ones right here, they kind of go along with the text. And as always, you should preview the text, get a feel for what's important and where information is, and then come back and to read. Because what have I said all year is you don't have to read every single word of a history textbook. You're reading with a purpose. And remember, our purpose is to gather these characteristics of the Ming Dynasty. So when you preview, you want to be looking for these characteristics. Now, the lesson resources have things like this video, which I encourage you to watch. They have things like this chart. And look, oh my gosh, right here. Government, right? It's giving you some information about the government. Remember I said we're only doing the Ming Dynasty, not the Qing Dynasty, so only focus on the Ming, right? There are maps, there are interactive images, and so if you click on these, it takes you to other information that pops up, right? Don't just rely on the text, is what I'm saying. Don't just rely on the text for this information. And in this lesson in particular, the text alone is not going to give you enough information. You're really going to need to dive into these other resources, especially, right, this biography of Zheng He, because if we go to our processing activity, you're going to explain the impact on global trade of Ming China, including the significance of Zhang He. So as you're gathering information, be sure you gather information about Zhang He. You see a biography here, and then other biographies as well. So what you're going to do in this processing activity, you're going to focus on one of these themes, global trade, right? The E from our Get Sig chart. So you're going to gather all of this information, and don't just think, I'm just going to do this processing activity. Well, yeah, if you just focus on that for today and you don't fill out your full Get Sig chart, you'll get done with today's lesson faster, but when it comes time for the exam, for future assignments, you're not going to have this information, and you're going to have to go back and do it anyway. So just go ahead and do it today. So let's see, what else to point out? As you're previewing, right, you're going to be looking for these headings, and notice right away, like Qing Dynasty, you're like, time to stop reading. Now it's going to talk about the Qing Dynasty. No. Don't do that, because the way this lesson is laid out in the book, it really bounces around, which I'm not crazy about, but I didn't write the book. So you see here Europeans in China. Again, not really about our topic because it's more about the Qing Dynasty. But if we go on, okay, more about the Qing Dynasty and the Qing Dynasty's relationship with Europeans. But see, look. Now they've gone back to economy and daily life, and how did the changing economy affect society? So now you see the E from our Get 6, society, the S from the Get 6. So you're going to find some more information here. And if we look up here, no, I have to go to the next page. Yeah, okay. Extended family, clan. Now we're getting into the S, and up here, what was I going to see? Yeah, so they have these more information, more resources up at the top, right? This is Chinese population growth, more maps, right? You're going to need to use all of these resources in order to complete your Get Sig chart. Look, Chinese art and literature, right? It's at its own section at the very end. If you hadn't skimmed, you wouldn't know that it's there. You're going to see some more examples of Chinese art, literature, kind of how we started this lesson when we looked at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So don't just focus on the reading. Okay, use these other resources to help you gather information about the Ming Dynasty so that you can describe its characteristics and sort them into the Get Sig chart. That way, you're going to have the information you need, not just to do this processing activity where you're explaining the impact on global trade of Ming China, but also you're going to be prepared for our summative assignments, our additional writing assignments, as well as the exam. Let me end by saying, speaking of writing assignments, here you are practicing a body paragraph. Remember, body paragraphs are going to have topic sentences. In other words, what is exactly the impact? You need to describe it. You need to name it, right? The impact on global trade of Ming China was this, fill in the blank. Where are you going to get this information from your Get Sig chart? Where did that information on the Get Sig chart come from? Chapter 20, lesson 1, right? So you name this impact. Then you're going to need some specific historical evidence to support your position. Where are you going to get that? Get Sig chart. Where are you going to get that? From chapter 20, lesson 1. All right, so you're going to write topic sentence where you describe the impact. Then you're going to need specific historical evidence to support that position, and then you need to explain your evidence. In other words, why did you give this information to support your position, right? You need to let me into your head about your decision-making process, right? That is what goes in a body paragraph. So work hard, guys. Let me know how I can help, and I'll see you next time.